Hey everyone, welcome to the stream. Welcome Da Vinci. Today we are going to be building the Z, at least to the point where we can mount the linear rails on the printer is the idea. We probably won't run the belts or anything like that yet, but I want to get the rails mounted and we're going to have all the gearboxes all mounted and everything. Hey Matt, welcome. I believe I've got all of my parts to do this. And then most likely next stream we'll run the Z belts. Actually, hopefully install the bed as well. I think the bed is in Canada now from AliExpress, so I should get it this week. And if that's the case, the Z should be 100% done next Saturday's stream with the bed. I'm going to have to cut a bottom panel for this because we're getting to the point where I'm going to need a power supply installed, a solid state relay, and a bunch of other things. So I'm going to have to get a acrylic panel cut for the bottom of this here pretty soon. But yeah, welcome to the stream. Hopefully we'll do some, hopefully we'll get as far as I'd like. I still have a lot to do on the gantry of this printer. I need to take it all apart, run my new gates, belts, and gates pulleys. I need to update the double shear plates, new motor mounts, all that kind of stuff as well. So I'm going to do that off of stream because it's just basically redoing the gantry again. There's no point to do that on stream. So let's go ahead and prepare our gearboxes and go from there. Hey Pixel, welcome. So the first thing we need to do is I want to move this to the correct spot so that we can get it finished off properly here. So this gearbox actually goes here. We'll worry about the position of this later because basically we're going to have to slide this back and forth to get the distance of the linear rail to this 2020 extrusion. The benefit of not mounting the linear rails to the extrusion is we can adjust the bed forward and back, which is actually a pretty nice feature if you want to move the bed around, if you have like a nozzle wiping on the back or clicky or whatever. Being able to move your rails forward and back, you can actually change the position a little bit of the bed forward and back. So that's a nice advantage to that. So this Z drive is pretty much sorted here. I just have my pulley in here is loose because again, I don't know where my belt's going to line up and all that kind of stuff. But we will mount the linear rail and all that stuff. I've got MGN12 rails over there, which we'll take a look at here in just a moment. But we are going to actually assemble the other gearbox. And I actually need a motor for this. So Z motors don't really matter. I'm using these really cheap motors off of Amazon. These were like $9 each. You get them in a pack of 3. These were the cheapest stepper motors I've ever found in Canada, period. At $9. I use them on quite a few of my builds. They work. They're obviously won't be as good as LDO or Stepper Online or Moons or anything like that. But for the Z, we have a 4-to-1 gear reduction on this. We don't need crazy torque or speed or anything fancy or anything like that. So what we will do here is I am going to take my time and figure out how I want this to go on. And I don't remember what I need for bolt length. So that looks like that's good for that. So you can see here we do have adjustability in the motor. so that we can tension our 188 millimeter belt. Generally, it's fully tensioned when this is like all the way flat. But we do have that ability, which is really, really nice. So I believe now these bolts I need to get larger, maybe a 12 or a 16. So I'll grab those trays, 12 and 16s. Well, let's just say it's 12. That's pretty good. Hey, welcome. Yeah, I think I'll do that. So if you live in Canada, or even if you live in the States, I highly, highly recommend, if you are building DIY printers in Canada, go on the Grainger website and order your bolts. It's massively cheaper. You can order 200 bolts of all various sizes and stuff like that for under $100. I'm talking about like 100 each. I ordered like a whole bunch of these off Grainger, like a huge order of like $100 or $200, and then they've lasted me for a few builds versus ordering the little tiny packages off Amazon or AliExpress. Bolts, it's much better to buy in bulk. So McMaster-Carr, I think in the United States, or Grainger in Canada, their website, the Grainger website works well. You just it takes some time to dig to find the actual bolts you're looking for, but shipping's fast and it's really, really easy, and they have all the bolts that you need, button heads and socket heads and all that kind of stuff. All right, so I need to open up my pack of cheapo pulleys here from Amazon. Need my motor shafts. So these are just 60 millimeter pins. These are from Amazon. They fit perfectly. They're really, really nice. There's no play on this. It fits just great. So the first thing we need to do is we need to snap off the top of the pulley here. That's how the Voron pulleys work. And these usually come off pretty easily, but I think it depends on the pulley. These ones are actually kind of strong, which of course is what I don't want. Usually these cheapo Amazon pulleys, the tops of them snap off really easily. This one is stubborn, but there we go. So you just got to go around it a couple times and the top will pull off. So then you get the pulley that looks like this with no top. That'll focus. And that goes into the back of the Voron 80-tooth pulley like so. And then you just put in 2 or 3 bolts. You don't have to do all of them. You can do them if you want to. I don't think it's absolutely necessary, but you are supposed to use button head, but I don't have any, and it's not that big of a deal. You just don't want the pulley slipping off or spinning inside or whatever. And the M3 basically just threads right into the groove of the the 20-tooth pulley. It works really well. Again, this axis, the Z axis, is not fast, so we're not really concerned about speed or anything like that. These bolts flying off or anything. They're literally just to hold the back of the pulley into the idler or into the 80 tooth. No, I can't. I actually needed to use Cappy. I had to make a video for the manual, so. And Cappy uses 60 tooth, if I remember correctly. Cappy doesn't use 80. This is an 80 tooth pulley. Cappy uses 60, if I remember right. So there we go. That's all secure. We can put our pin in. Yeah, I need my bearings as well. So we can put the bearings, they go on the inside. They fit in nicely there. You can see how they go in from the inside. Just F695 bearings, same bearings you're using for the printer anyways, so makes things nice and easy. All right. Then we are going to install our motor shaft, and in all honesty, that's it. Yeah, so I think I'm going to do that. So we're putting our 22 pulley inside, putting in our shaft, and then this goes like so. So you can see how that works. It's really, really simple gearbox. It does use a lot of pulleys. It uses 3 of them. So I just want to see if I can get this. Should line up the shaft here. You absolutely should Loctite though the pulleys on the motors and the shaft. I don't want to make a mess right now, so I'm not going to Loctite these, but absolutely recommended to do so. All right, so let's grab our 188 millimeter belt. Again, this is just off Amazon. You can find these in all-in-one kits. Like it'll give you the belt, the pulleys in a kit on AliExpress, I believe, which is they're pretty cheap if you buy them as a set. I'm going to go ahead and I'll lock in my motor here. Okay, this does not want to bite. Oh. My one motor is a bit if that's tightening on the part or not. No, I'm gonna have to use some washers on that one just because it's a bit too long, but I do want to slide this motor shaft up a bit. You want the belt riding right in the center of your pulleys, obviously, so that's pretty good right there. I'm gonna lock this in. There we go. So again, very, very easy 4-to-1 gear reduction to assemble. It's 2 printed parts, 2 bearings, 3 20-tooth pulleys, and a shaft. Okay, so, and again, I'm leaving the 20-tooth pulley in the middle. I'm not tightening this because I really don't know where my belt's going to line up right now. And then this will mount to the other side. But before I do that, I want to see if I can find some M3 washers for that one. Honestly, I should use washers for all of the bolts there, but I don't know if I have any washers. I guess I've got a couple here. Hopefully everyone's weekend's going well. Two probably should be enough. It's pretty thick washers, but yeah, it should be good. There we go. We just don't want that loosening. And of course this moves really, really nice. Yeah, this is a 4-to-1 gear reduction on SimpleCore. Cappy's a 3-to-1. This Cappy's not like super heavy. And then my Pegasus flying gantry printer is a 5-to-1 gear reduction because it's supporting the entire gantry, but it does have 4 gearboxes. So there's some help there. Okay, now we can bolt in this side. Oh well. Oh yeah, no, that's common for us in Canada as well, talking about the weather. Well, hopefully the storm doesn't do any damage or anything like that. Okay, this is not M5. Some of my M5 T-nuts are not the right size. It's nice to get some progress done on SimpleCore. I really, really want to get this thing printing because I have a project that I want to use this printer for, so I need to get it up and running. And I am excited to use Beacon on this as well. Alright, so there we go. Another 41 gear reduction, and then we just have our gear reduction in the back. We can install our top mounts here and then attach our linear rails. Then we just got to basically space these out. I'm going to have to 3D print a tool to actually center the rail in the back. So I'll have to print a spacer that we'll use to actually fully line this up, but you get the idea. Okay, I have to go get my gearbox. It's just done printing on my Bamboo printer, and I'll be back. All right, and the rear gearbox, I believe it is just a right gearbox, so it's the same part. Although, does it have? Yeah, it's the same part. Oh, how come your switch wire didn't work out very well? I heard switch wires are quite nice printers, and Core XZ is quite nice. Okay, what are we doing here? We got to build another gearbox. So I'm basically building this. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put our motor on here. Okay, where we go. Right. Okay. Install our bearings. So there. Oh, so you couldn't get your Z-tilt working, Matt? So it would... I don't know what probe does the switch wire we use? Does it use the inductive Omron probe? I know those are pretty crappy for accuracy sometimes. I imagine you would solve most of your issues if you could move to Beacon. A Beacon probe would be massively big win for that, and it would sort out the Z-tilt and all of your issues. Beacon probes are pretty much the golden standard if you want proper accuracy. BL touches are pretty crap for the most of the part. A BQ micro probe is pretty good. Clicky probe is, I do not like clicky probe. I don't find them to be that great either as far as accuracy. They work, but they can be hit or miss as well. Yeah, I wouldn't rely on BL Touch to actually be that accurate. You could, Matt, switch to a BQ micro probe. They're smaller than the BL Touch, and I wouldn't imagine be very difficult to mod your existing setup to just use that. But that would be my suggestion, is try out the BQ micro probe, replace your BL Touch. I do believe they're quite a bit better as far as accuracy and stuff like that. The Eddy would probably work okay too, but I mean, I just went ahead and bought the, I don't know, the beacon for this just because I wanted the original, and I know it has like beacon touch and all that stuff now, and it's just really, really nice. It's very fast and it's very accurate. But you got to have the ability to be able to mount it, right? Beacon, and I don't know. Although I imagine the Switchwire basically supports any Voron toolhead, so you can probably find a toolhead that will work with Beacon. Alright, we got our pulley there, so I need another shaft. We need to go another. Okay, so this is going to go like this. Like this. Okay, we need another 20 tooth. Oh yeah, okay, that's good. You got other working printers. It's always nice to have multiple printers. That is for sure. What the heck? I thought that was tight. Lock that pulley in. I do not know of a NEMA 17 with a built-in gear reduction. I know there's some NEMA 14s. They're tricky to find, but they have like a built-in gear reduction. They were on AliExpress, and they're used on another printer. I don't remember what printer used them, but they're supposed to be quite good. But you can find NEMA 14s that do have that. I haven't used them in any of my printers just because I think they are pretty expensive, but they are pretty good quality as far as I know. Oh yeah, the Second Pixel. Look up, I think it's the Second printers that use them. I'm sure that's what it was. My Second SK or whatever did use them. Benjamin, yeah, if I were you, I would look at building either a Voron 2.4 or my Pegasus printer. Because then you can just use Stealth Changer, which is an already working tool changing system, and it to need move my pulley up just a hair. I went a bit too high on that one. Honestly, these could be 10 millimeter wide. Pulleys would be better. You'd have much more space to dial these in. Yeah, that's good right there. This is not very tight. I'll have to retighten that. Yeah, deltas are really awesome as well. I don't think this is tight for some reason. Well, there we go. Okay. Got our rear gear reduction that we can mount. Oh, it was an SK Cube, I'm pretty sure, Pixel. And if you look in their bill of materials, it'll tell you what the I do have a videos on my channel of it. I'm pretty sure it was SK Cube. All right. And there is our rear. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, okay. Yeah, a lot of people like the monolith belt path Benjamin. That's perfectly fine too. The Trident, the Voron belt path is perfectly fine and stuff like that. Yeah, they're definitely more complicated for sure. I honestly don't think it's that big of a deal if you're buying high quality parts right from the bill of materials that they say you're supposed to use. Don't mix and match pulley brands and belts. If you're building monolith, I'm pretty sure they recommend gates across the board. Do not use anything but gates. And I'm talking about gates pulleys, gates idlers, and gates belt. It's very, 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 very important to do that. You do not want to mix pulleys and idlers. Ask me how I know. I've done that before in the past, and I did that on this printer, and it bit me. So I have to completely take all this apart and run new gates belts, and I got to change my pulleys to gates. So, but because I have like issues with belts and all that stuff on this one, they're not lined up correctly. But okay, next step we need to do is we need to mount the top mounts here for the actual rails. That's these guys there. These are basically the carriages or tensioners for the top. They're really, really simple, right? There's going to be just a sliding tensioning part in here with our idler, and then there's a tensioning screw on the top. And these simply just bolt right into here with M5, and then we can mount our linear rails. So I'm going to see if I can turn this so you guys can actually see what the heck is going on here. Without making a mess. So yeah, this is just going to basically bolt up to here, and it'll mount our rail. So I'm going to pre-install the M5. Alright, so we can mount this up. We're not tightening anything down, we're just going to mount it. So we're not like crazy tightening it, but you get the idea how it's going to mount that. So I'm going to get one of my MGN12s. Alright, so I ordered MGN12s for this. These are MGN12Hs. I'll see how these run. These actually run quite nice, so I may just save myself some time and not lube them up, but you get how this is going to work here. I am going to need to take off the, or move the little stoppers. So that I can bolt this up, of course. And I need, I don't think I need 16. That's pretty excessive, I would say. 12 will be good. Yeah, 12 is perfect, so I'm going to grab myself a M3 nut. All right. And I recommend nylock nuts for this. It's the right way around. And again, we're not going to go crazy tightening this yet either. Okay, so that's there. And this is adjustable up and down so that, you know, if your parts are shrinking slightly or something is slightly off, you can still get in the M3 into the correct hole. Like so. And I'm going to use lock nut on here. There we go. And that is Z. You can see we have a really nice platform for this to rest on when the print is complete. But we have to dial in a bunch of stuff here. So I really need to measure this and make sure this is absolutely as parallel as possible. This is one of the most crucial steps. I'll be right back here in just 1 minute. So we need this to be from this to this. This is 70. That's not even what I want. 76.4. 76.4. This number doesn't matter too much. What matters is that it's the same on the top and the bottom. So 76.4. Z-tilt will just operate like usual. We have our 3 mounts, 3 drivers, and then the bed can actually auto level itself. The Z is not moving that much. Like the Z, we're trying to get flatness. It's moving less than 1 millimeter on each corner. So nothing crazy needs to be done here as far as like mechanical assembly or anything like that. That's what you're meaning. All right, so we need to slide these. So I need to loosen them up a little bit. Okay, we don't want to move that. Man, this is still. This. So obviously we can. This is still not loose enough. There we go. So what we're doing is we are going to be moving the bottom rail into position here. Again, we want this as lock in one. Happy with that. And we need to move the top piece here. So that's quite good. And again, lock these in and then double check it a few times, of course, to make sure. And once you get it close, see, like our bottom one moved quite a bit here. That's okay. Our top one's good. Make it barely. How about making the printed part that will sit between the motor mount and the frame in the front? Yeah, there you could definitely have a printed part that would sit and space these out. The problem is the distance from here to here is not the same as the distance from here to here. And you can see I can't. But I probably will make a tool that will space this here and here instead of using calipers. That way you can actually like press it up against and lock everything in correctly. But I need to loosen this so that I can get it back in. And again, our MGN, we want this close enough that I can lock down the rail, is basically. Once the rail's locked down, then I can start moving it ever so slightly some more. So I need pliers. They're right in front of my face. All right, fair enough. Yeah, a tool will absolutely make it easier for sure, but we do have to lock in this bottom. There we go. And now we can lock in this top, and then we'll fine tune the spacing a bit more. That's better. Okay, now that the linear rail is kind of locked in, we are still able to really tiny, minute changes here because we are just ever so slightly off on the bottom. And now that you kind of get the idea, I'm going to just turn this so it's facing me, so it's actually not as difficult for me to make the adjustments. So we can loosen this. Keep sliding the pulley. And yeah, basically we want this to just lock in like that. Lock in like that. So that's perfect. And then up here, probably slide it back just a hair. Again, take your time with this part. It's a incredibly important part of this build. But yeah, I will make a printed adapter for it. So basically, it'll sit down here and then it'll have a little T. It'll basically be a T that will help this out. How long do you think before the new files and BOM? The bill of materials is done. There's nothing changing on the bill of materials. The parts when this prints. So a couple weeks for sure. At least 2 weeks for sure. And there we go. Take out our other stopper here. So there's one done. It'll introduce all sorts of weird issues. Now, depends on how tall you print, of course, and it depends on how far it is out. I mean, if you got the back one wrong, it would basically move the bed like this. You'd have like a kind of a spiral effect. I honestly don't know how much it would really affect, but you want to get it as best as you can. Like revisit it a couple times throughout the build. Make sure these are absolutely as straight as you can possibly get them. I don't think it'll, I mean, if you were way out, yeah, it will bind up the bed and all sorts of stuff for sure. But on any 3D printer, this is the most crucial step, is making sure your rails are parallel. You know, people use micrometers to measure this to make sure that it's absolutely flat and all sorts of things. This affects your layer stacking. It's the most important thing possible. So, but that one's all dialed in. It looks like we actually got this pretty close, but we need to mount our other top part here. We will get these in enough to stay. Be able to slide them around, and I will get my other rail. Okay. And yes, I would suggest that you lubricate all of your rails, but these are running absolutely smooth. So I'm just gonna YOLO it, but don't do what I do, please. Do you should lubricate stuff. I do have some more nylox in here. And this linear rail is already close enough, so I am going to lock this rail down here. Yeah, I just use super lube. I just use super lube. Synthetic grease is all I use. That's all I have ever used. All right. Yeah, it's definitely not as quite essential. These are not moving fast at all. And the lubrication doesn't affect precision or anything like that. As long as your rails aren't binding, you'll be okay, honestly. But if you got the lube, there's no real reason not to. I just don't want to get my hands all greasy and stuff, preferably right now. And I'm doing it on live stream, so I'm trying to save you guys some tedium. So I'm gonna blame it on live stream. Why I'm not actually close. Move this back just a touch. Alright, so I'm going to do the top now. That one is. But yeah, if you have a printed tool, this will make your life massively easier. So I will include a printed tool for sure. Bottom one is just a little bit loose. And I will probably readjust these once I have the printed tool. So they're as good as possible. Because there are M5 bolts underneath here as well. So MGN12 is just really beefy. I would go MGN12 for the Z personally. But yeah, take out these stoppers here. We'll double check this, and yeah, I will of course have to triple check this before I print. Because absolutely a printed tool to actually have this proper will be much better. All right. Okay. This stopper. All right. So SimpleCore supports MGN12H and MGN12C. I'm going for H, the longer carriages, because again they're sporting a bed. The bed can be quite heavy, so I just wanted, you know, a longer carriage, but you can use either or. MGN9 would simplify some things, but the Y is MGN9. The top by default is MGN12, but I'm using MGN9 with a mod because I want my gantry really, really lightweight. And then the Z is MGN12. And if you got MGN9 already, you can go ahead and use it. The bolt spacing here will be different though, so I'm not too sure if there's a mod for that, for the actual ledge, the Z ledge. All right, so all we need to do here is we need to mount up the Z. I will turn this over so we can mount our final top piece here. I'm sure this won't be even close to parallel, which is fine. I need the tool for this part. So we're just going to eyeball this. I'm positive that that's not even close, but that's okay. Like I say, I'll make a tool for this as well. Yeah, it's not easy. You just need to change the holes. All right, yeah, it's really, really easy. It's not difficult. Just change the hole spacing. You can use the existing part. You won't have to change anything else. Just delete the holes and add some new ones for MGN9. It's not. It's a very easy modification to do. Yeah, you'll be totally fine. All right, do I have any more nylocks? There's one. Okay, one more nylock. Do I have one? Doesn't look like it. That's okay. The clicking you're probably hearing is my hot water. If it's clicking in the audio, it is my hot water pipes that are right behind me. Well, behind me in my closet for my dishwasher. Yeah, it's my dishwasher, hot water, sink, the temperature variation going through it. Take this off. There we go. I am sure that's not even, yeah, you can see it's angled, which is fine. I'll have to make the tool and then I can lock those in much, much better. No, nothing interesting at all. Hey Chaz, welcome. Yeah, you're late. We're pretty much going to be wrapping up here. I already installed the Z. Well, the Z as far as I can go, at least. I think my K1 bed, oh yeah, you can see how really great that is. We don't care right now because I don't have the tool made yet to actually make it parallel, which is fine, but we can at least eyeball that a little bit better. Again, we're not really concerned with it being straight until I make the printed tool to actually line that up. Yep, no issues. Everything is all completed. We got the gear drives are all 100% done, ready to go. Got all my pulleys in here ready. I just didn't print out the little attentioner carriages yet. So I'll need to do that. No big deal, but we've got everything mounted. My K1 bed should be here hopefully this week. I think it's in Canada now. Mains beds are not that. I mean, you need to buy a solid state relay. Is really the It's like 40 bucks, 30, 40 bucks for a good solid state relay like Omron. Don't cheap out on a solid state relay. Omron, and then you need, where did I see those? I just seen my thermal fuses. You need thermal fuses as well. I don't remember where did I move those so that I didn't forget them, but you need a thermal fuse as well. Which I have somewhere around here. Yeah, I got my new belts and all that stuff. I gotta completely take this all apart off stream. New belts and pulleys for the motors. I'll rerun all that, and that will be good. Because I still got to modify these with the correct spacing and all that stuff. So yeah, Panasonic would be great too as well. Omron or Panasonic would be really, really good. But yes, we're in a really good place here. I literally have to print 6 parts and we're done. Like printing wise, 6 parts. That's all that's left for the most part. Yeah, there was some extras. I actually have no idea what they are. He gave me some extra pulleys, which was awesome. Nope. Yeah, I got some extra pulleys, which is great. But I have no idea what this is. I mean, it looks like a nozzle, but maybe I'm on drugs. It's definitely not a nozzle. And it has a brass. So it almost looks like a grease nipple or something like that. I couldn't tell you. Oh yeah, okay. That makes sense. I did get some Kevlar, whatever you call it, string or something like that. Rope, I guess, would be the best way. I don't know why I threw it here, but yeah, I did get that. Yeah, so I did get Kevlar for the Bowden, so that's perfect. I wish it wasn't yellow. Okay. I can look at the boombox. My boombox, I'm most likely going to just use my assembled beta version of the boombox because it did work really, really well. But you're right. I do need to look at the bill of materials because, yeah, I could see these actually replacing the coupler so that I can properly tension the boombox. Like obviously replace the whatever 10G fitting thingy. So that makes sense, Chaz. I kind of understand now what all this is. Yeah, so the Bowden can go in through here and all that stuff. Perfect. But yeah, we're going to be using this extruder with this printer, which is exactly 8 steppers needed for this printer to function. I have no idea where I'm mounting this yet, but I can't really use the mount that's here. I'm not too sure. I want the shortest Bowden path possible, of course. but we'll figure something out. Yeah, I'll have to look at the manual again and figure it all out. So, because yeah, I am going Bowden on this printer. I know it probably won't be very common for most people building this. They'll just stick with whatever Sherpa Mini or Galileo or whatever extruder they want to use on this. But I wanted to go Bowden, really lightweight, just because I can. And this printer gained a lot of weight from these linear rails, but yeah, so I have my Bowden collet here with my adapter. I'm gonna reprint this as well so that because I did make these bolts flush, and then I got to add all the LEDs and fans and wiring for this and go there. Hey, welcome, welcome. You have to purchase the boombox separately on printables. It's not my design. James did an incredible job and massive amount of work, so you definitely want to support him and purchase the boombox. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of dumb what I'm doing. The SimpleCore is never made for speed, but I just want to try to have the highest print quality possible. So that's why I'm going really lightweight. That's the idea here is I'm going lightweight to try to make sure the print quality is good as possible. I'm going print quality, number one on this printer is print quality. This printer I'm going to be using to print out the brand new 3D Sets Mogstar rock crawler, which is a Mercedes Unimog. I'm super excited, but this printer is going to be print every single part of the Mogstar from 3D Sets. Because I have their Land Rover Defender model and it's amazing. I got to finish it, but my Land Rover Defender is almost done. I can show you for people who don't know. So we're gonna be printing one of these. This one's 90% done, but I'm gonna move SimpleCore here. So if you haven't checked out 3D Sets, I highly recommend it. So they made a brand new model, which is a Mercedes Unimog, which is really cool. It's got portal axles, they're 4-wheel drive, all sorts of stuff. So my SimpleCore is going to be printing their new model from start to finish, every single part, to kind of make sure, dial it in, get it going workhorse style. So yeah, it'll be a really good test for SimpleCore to make sure that I can fine tune it and everything fits together well and all that kind of stuff. So it's a good, I guess, torture test you could call it potentially. But so I'll have this Land Rover Defender and I'll have the Mercedes Unimog. So I'm very excited to be building one of those, and I'll probably live stream its build as well while I'm in between printers. Um, this one I've had to print, reprint it a couple times, like the transfer case. I bought this like 3 or 4 years ago, like the parts, the files, and 3D Sets changed it from a gear drive transmission to a belt drive, which is way quieter. I was actually going to make the mod myself, and then they came out with a belt drive transmission. So I've reprinted the belt drive on this thing, and I've reprinted like the top, the doors, and the hood, because I actually used a Tronxy X5SA to print this. Is an okay Core XY printer, to say the least. But I also printed some of these off of an FL Sun Delta printer. We've got the grill and stuff back here, floor mats and whatnot. But this is mostly complete. But I've been building this for like 2 years. I stop, start, stop, start, stop, start. So yeah, thanks for stopping by, Chaz. We're just wrapping up here anyways, so. Yeah, in between printers, that is correct. I am going to be building the ball screw printer next, is the idea. So once SimpleCore Redux is printing and on printables, I am going to start assembling the ball screw printer. I have a 3D printer fully designed. It's done in CAD. We did it on, I did some videos on building it on my YouTube membership and Patreon as well. So it's like 8 or 9 episodes, I think. And we basically designed a ball screw printer from start to finish. And I want to get one printing. There's like no DIY ball screw printers out there as far as I know. I know Pantheon make a ball screw printer, but it's like 10 grand. So I really want to see if it works. It might not work. It's very possible it's not going to work. But honestly, the Dragon, they're Magic Dragon ball screws off AliExpress. They're not expensive. I bought small ones, right? I can maybe find one of them. I got all 5. So I have a ball screw right here. So these are Magic Dragon ball screws. If I remember correctly, these are very oily. Yeah, I don't know. Ball screws maybe a little bit overkill for Zed, but. So these are Magic Dragon ball screws. I'm really impressed with the quality. They are like beyond butter smooth. There's no backlash at all in these, which is really important when you buy ball screws. Honestly, I'm so excited to build this printer. It's a smaller one. It's like 180 by 180 by 180. But yeah, it's you joined late, Views. We already did what we needed to do, and now we're talking about the ball screws. So yeah, Magic Dragon, very impressed. I don't remember how much these were. I think they're only like 25 bucks a piece. They're very similar to linear rails. It's a Land Rover Defender actually. Or, yes, it's called a Landy on 3D Sets website. So yeah, that is what we're going to be doing. I'm going to be using SimpleCore to actually build another one of these, which is the Mercedes Unimog. Set that down there. I can put the printer back up. So that's the idea is once this thing is printing, we are going to start using it, like literally using it every single day to print out. Yeah, the 240Z is an awesome model as well. Um, I'm not a huge fan of road cars for RC because I want them to be able to go outside and do rock crawling and all sorts of stuff like that. But they make some awesome sets. Yeah, it actually is in the entire motion system, the ball screw. True. Yeah, true. Uh, um, yeah, I'm really excited to not use belts on a 3D printer. I have a love-hate relationship with belts. They're pretty annoying, but yeah. But that's kind of it for the live stream, guys. Appreciate you coming and checking this out. I hopefully will have my bed next Saturday. So I'm going to print all the mounts out so we can fully install the bed. And then I'm going to have to get cutting a acrylic bottom panel for this so I can mount electronics. Because honestly, once the bed's mounted, I just got to reprint some things and reassemble some stuff, and this is printing. Ball screws are actually quite fast, Matt. They're faster than lead screws, just based on how the pitch is. It's not going to be a speed demon, for sure, but I'm curious. Like I really don't know the speed. How is it going to sound? What's the print quality going to be like? Is there going to be any VFA at all because we don't have belts or anything like that? So it's going to be pretty awesome. So I have 5 of these ball screws, if I remember correctly, and the printer is basically done. It's fully designed. So um, thanks so much, everyone, for watching. I will hopefully be live streaming next Saturday as well. Where we'll completely finish the Z. And like I say, once the Z's done, it's literally just going to be some wiring, getting Clipper going, getting my beacon probe working, and we're going to do some prints. So I'm getting very excited. But yeah, stay tuned to the channel. If you're not subscribed, definitely subscribe. If you want to support the channel, check out my Patreon or become a YouTube member. I appreciate all of that. And yeah, I'll catch everyone next Saturday, hopefully, while we get this buttoned up. And then maybe the stream after that. This thing's going to be